Okay, so it says that we have started, but let's not start talking about important stuff yet, because
Okay.
I gotta actually send a link over so people can watch us live. So
Okay, I see the live thing now.
Oh, live
do
now.
you
All
see it
right.
live? Okay, cool.
I do.
So
We are live.
All the way live. All the way up.
all the way up.
At 12
All the
Mm.
o'clock.
way up. Oh no.
All the way up.
And
We all the way up.
But why do you sound like him though? Oh my god.
Y'all crazy. All the way up.
Woo. All right.
oh my goodness. Okay, so I see that we are live on YouTube. So I'm sending the link over to the Music Club.
How many are we up to now? I didn't even look at the latest number.
I think
3 million.
wait, no.
3 million? 5011?
Take that.
3,050,011. Okay, where is the thing? The thing.
I put it right there.
Yeah. We are up
Must turn off
to
that then.
13,227 people.
Lord, that's a lot of people.
Well, a whole lot. Yeah, right.
A lot of people to police. Woo.
Huh.
Oh God.
Y'all better get your shit together.
Mm.
Selena will turn this fan off.
Uh-oh, what did I do? Let's get rid of that. Oh, 13,220. Okay,
Okay.
so the purpose of this video is to discuss the current events.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we're broadcasting this in a Prince group, the connection is not really Prince, but I think he would appreciate us opening it up for discussion on stuff like this because we got to do something. I mean, as a not us necessarily. I mean, we got to contribute too, but I mean, like just in general, things have got to change.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that entails or what's going to have to happen. I don't think anybody knows what the answer is because just like in our group, when you have so many different personalities,
Yeah.
how do you make that work? Especially on a bigger scale when you have issues like gun control and racism and things like that. So
All right.
I guess let's start with what happened in Louisiana.
Yeah.
I mean, right after Independence Day,
Mm-hmm.
when we're supposed to be supposedly celebrating our freedom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really.
We end up with a video that's gone viral all over Facebook and what looks like another black man.
No, you're muffled.
Am I muffled?
Yeah,
At least on my
I
end.
thought I was the only one. Yeah, you're muffled over here too.
Can you hear me better now? No?
Wait. No.
No? Okay.
No, you sound like you're in a well.
Live TV.
I know, right?
Work with
Technical
us.
difficulties.
And
Please stand by.
Hold on.
Cheap ass headphones.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I wasn't gonna say nothing.
I didn't even.
It's a dog. It's one of them dogs in the way.
Can you hear me now?
oh man.
That's better.
That's better.
Okay, great.
Anyway,
Okay,
Louisiana.
so, who wants to share their thoughts on that first situation? This was for Alton Sterling.
Sterling.
Alton Sterling.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think we're all we don't know where to begin because it doesn't make sense. None of it does, so we don't know where to begin. What do we say? Um,
It-
tore me up watching his son, 15-year-old.
Yeah, that I can't even fathom just any one of my sons or my daughter for that matter just going through that.
Right.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Well,
absolutely, absolutely horrifying. Just seeing the image, seeing the video of Alston Sterling, in the first place, and there being two different angles, and
I was
each
about to say that.
video was worse than the one before it. And
Right.
then the news conference with the mom and the 15-year-old, that was just devastating in every sense of the word. My heart truly broke for that kid, because I think he was there when
Was he? Yeah,
that
they said some of
happened.
his family was there.
I think, yeah, some of his family for sure was there, and to witness your son, your father, your the one be executed, because that's what that was.
It really was.
That is nothing short of travesty.
And then to fear that if you jump in and try to help, what's going to happen to you?
right.
You know, it's the most helpless feeling
And this
over
is the police
something
we're
so
talking about.
mundane. Yeah, something so mundane as he was selling CDs.
I mean, if that's something that, if it's illegal like that, you issue out a summons. It's not
Right.
to the point where you have to tackle anybody and pull out a gun, let alone shoot the gun.
Yeah, let's talk about that
Where's-
tackle. That was like a bum rush. He like that was bad enough. Y'all saw that, right? He was just standing there.
Yeah, that was like a WWE move.
Yes.
Just, that boggled that was the first thing that boggled my mind. And then, of course, the shooting. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Really? And there was nothing in his hands. There was nothing in his hands. But what did they pull out of that man's pocket?
Yep.
Cover up?
What I don't understand is, I know we didn't see some of what happened before, like when police arrived to that point.
Right.
But at the point that we start seeing stuff going on, there's no dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean,
Apparently, they said that the police did have body cameras, but they fell off. I'm not buying that BS.
no.
Because that's my issue with body cameras now anyway, because they can be turned off or they can be taken off. So what's the point of actually having them?
Right.
Wasn't that body camera that was showing one of the videos like just fell off somehow once the shooting started? Because I think there was a body camera with that first one when you see the tackle. I thought that's what I had heard. I could be wrong, but
I saw something come off of the cop that shot him, but it wasn't a body camera. I think it was something else, because it was lower, like on his waistband or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was no dialogue. You never hear the cops telling him to get down on the ground.
No directives.
Or to tell him to put his hands up, or none of that. So, I mean, maybe at that point they had already got to the point of tasing him, I assume. And that didn't
Did
work.
they tase him?
They did.
They said, yeah.
They did.
That I didn't know.
So I think I just don't understand, like, where everything went so wrong to where they're not telling him what they want from him. And then they just decide to just tackle, and then what? What's going to be accomplished from that? Because if he doesn't even know what he's being tackled for, what is he being detained for, then how is he supposed to comply? How is he supposed to do his part?
Yeah.
And once you have somebody
And
down
my
on the
thing,
ground and they're on their back, and you got two cops on top of them,
Who were not small.
yeah, there was two big guys on top of
Yes, they were.
them. Then
yeah,
it's what it's like. What the hell are you supposed to do? Like, you got one arm that's completely,
Right.
um, and controlled by one cop. The other arm,
Yeah.
they're saying that he was trying to go for his gun, but we don't know that. I mean, we don't even know for sure that he had a gun.
Yeah.
Because we see the
exactly.
cop take something out of his pocket, but we never saw exactly what it was.
Because I find it hard to believe that a grown man will put a gun in his front right pocket. Who would carry it that way?
Right.
That struck me funny.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Even if they felt the need to shoot him,
Mm-hmm.
why did you shoot him in his chest?
Right,
You're
point
not
blank in the
supposed
chest.
to be shooting, someone who you're just and to disable in
Right,
the chest or
immobilize.
any part of the body that could really kill him. You're supposed.
Right.
My understanding is you shoot their arm, you shoot their leg.
Immobilized. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
You're
been
not
told different
shooting
things.
them to kill them.
See, I've been told
You're
different
not
things.
doing.
Some people say that they're trained to shoot to kill if they feel that their life is dangerous. But that's where the question comes in.
How could they have been in
Was
danger?
your life in danger?
No, the
You
dude was on
guys
the
were on
ground.
top of him, and he
Exactly.
For
didn't have
God's sake,
anything in his hand.
he was outnumbered.
Right.
Yeah, he was outnumbered.
He was already on the
What could he
ground.
really do? How far
Right.
did he go?
And the car was right there. They were wrestling right in front of the car, too. So he had that obstruction, too. What was he going to do? Where was he going to go?
Right.
And could they not have tased him again?
Right.
There's got to be other options. There's got to be something else other than, let me draw my gun and make that lethal decision. It was a choice to say, I'm firing how many times? 6 was?
It was like
6
4
times.
4 to 6 times, yeah.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, 6
Because
times.
one wasn't enough.
Right. Like, point blank in the chest, one wasn't enough.
One wasn't enough.
That really pisses me off because I didn't even realize it was 6. I thought it was like a couple.
Yeah,
I didn't
man.
realize it was.
Yeah.
Excessive.
And that's the other thing. It's like, first of all, was your life really in danger? And then second of all, why so many times?
Yeah.
I mean,
And they knew all those people were around, too. All those onlookers.
if nothing else, and they really were having such a struggle with this guy, then was there not another big dude out there? Because there was plenty of people filming.
Yeah.
Nobody called backup, nothing. It's just like, to us, we're not cops, I understand, but to everybody who's afraid now because of this, we're saying, well, damn, like, what is it that we have to do or not do? The lines are blurred. There's no clear rules. And if it doesn't, well, and not that it's not clear rules. There are clear rules, but they don't apply to everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Really.
like, because then that brings us to Philando. That's his name. The one in St. Paul. He did everything that he was supposed to do according to his girlfriend. And we didn't see the whole situation there either, but according to what she told us.
She specifically said, how can I do 2 things at once? You're telling me to show my hands and give you my ID.
Right.
Can't win.
And there was a gentleman on CNN, I think, that had mentioned that when you take the classes or whatever to get your license, that they tell you if you're pulled over and you have your gun on you, to let them know that you're licensed and that you have it there so that they know. And that's what he did. And then he said that he was down in his pocket for his wallet.
What was that, Cam?
He flat out told them, I have a gun.
Yeah.
I think he said I have a legal, my own legal gun.
He has a permit to carry. And she started screaming it out too. He's got a permit.
I mean, that doesn't count for something.
And the child in the back seat don't count for anything either.
Oh, that should believe.
God.
And again,
So that means
that was what 4 or 5 times he was shot.
Yes, not once, right?
And
In
then,
the car, he wasn't going nowhere.
Right. He still had the seatbelt on, if I remember correctly, watching the video. He hadn't even unbuckled.
Yeah. And mind you, they were pulled over for a busted taillight. So.
That she says she wasn't aware they had, right?
Right. So you get pulled over for a busted taillight, and it calls for excessive force. I mean, no questioning, no nothing, you know.
Yeah.
He didn't even get out of the car just to even
right.
No, he didn't even get to finish what he was trying to tell him about being licensed to carry. He couldn't even finish his sentence. And now I'm hearing, I don't know if I read this or what, but the officer immediately knew. He immediately reacted. He knew he did wrong because he freaked out.
Yep.
They said he freaked out. Okay, because see, I didn't see that part. I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
Yep. In the very beginning of the video, when she's explaining what had just happened, and then the cop he's still, the dude is dying in the seat, but he's still pointing the gun through the window.
Yeah.
And then he'd said to her something about, I had told him something. I don't know what he said, but the way he was talking, you could tell in his voice that he knew he did something wrong. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But now it's too late.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, there was no reason for him to react that way in the first place. It's like, I understand the cops are out here scared too, but man, like,
absolutely.
Give us a chance.
If you're that scared, why are you all? Yeah,
exactly.
If you're that scared, why are you that close up on the car like that?
Right.
He was right in the position where if Philando, is that how you pronounce it?
Philando,
I think right now. Philando, thank you. If he was that close to where Philando could do something, why? He set himself up to put himself in the position of doing the wrong thing, this cop.
Yeah.
And as a result, now we're in this position. The family's in the position that they're in, and us too, because it affects every single one of us. Now that we all know about it.
Yeah. And do we know anything about this cop's service history? Do we know? I'm getting at. I don't want to hear that this was a rookie mistake. I don't want to hear. You know what I'm saying? How long had he been on the job? Do we know?
I don't.
They haven't released much of anything about it.
It had been said earlier today, but I didn't get a chance to hear it because I was just passing by the television at work. But he's on paid administrative leave, pending investigation, blah blah blah. The same stuff.
Yeah.
Have they released his name or anything yet?
I don't know. They just said he was an Asian police officer. That's
what is his name?
Yeah.
It was Geronimo something. I can't remember the last name.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
This is the first I'm hearing of the name, but I've also been out most of the day.
And you know what? I got to say kudos to all those people who marched on the governor's mansion. I just be about it. Can't just talk about it. Be about it. They did that, boy. Because that governor sure did speak. When was that? Yesterday evening or this morning?
Yes.
He finally spoke on that. Yep.
I mean, I am not a political person. I don't like politics. I don't like to get involved in politics. I don't even really consider this a political issue because this is a humanity issue, and it's a social issue. It's a race issue. This is an issue that the politics really should stay out of. But politics is in the middle of it because it comes down to gun control, and people don't want their guns taken away. Well,
Yep.
okay, but
Probably.
then you end up with a situation like we just had in Dallas.
Ugh.
Retaliation.
That's the next thing right there. I mean, it also comes down to how are the police being trained?
Yeah, police
Something is
mental
off
health.
when this keeps on happening. This is, this has been going on for years and years and years.
Hmm.
And
It's
this is
nothing
all
new.
based off of stuff that we've seen on video, which for at
Mhm.
least 25 years. We go back to Rodney King in
Sure.
1991. Yeah. And we see the results of all that stuff happening as well. And, again, you fast forward to 24 hours ago in Dallas. The people are mad, and retaliation is happening. And who's to say that this won't happen again in some other
Exactly.
city in America?
Misguided retaliation.
Because
And
people,
it has. It happened in
very much so misguided.
today. It happened a few more times. It didn't get as much big coverage as here in Dallas, but it did happen a few more times here today.
My God.
What do we do?
mean, this does not help the cause at all. If anything, it sets it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes it worse. Somebody, I don't know who it is, a congressperson, some political person, he mentioned that. He said it does not make it any better if you go shoot police. It makes it worse, because then what do? You have the police more scared than they probably already were.
Yeah.
On top of that, Sue, if any kind of legislation would ever pass, or even a bill being considered, it will be quicker for it to go towards the police than to any one of us. Not to say that the police shouldn't have any kind of protection. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But it takes something like those type of
this position?
Right.
See?
Yeah.
It is about the abuse of power, and making sure that the police don't abuse their power when it comes to questioning civilians, whether they have committed a crime or not. And that's the reason for a Black Lives Matter movement, because no one should be treated as inferior and not as not being an equal. And I'm scared that with the Dallas case, that's going to be pushed to the back burner. It already is in media coverage, and I knew that was going to happen. And not that it shouldn't, because this is a very major and horrific event that took place. But for me, it's all about the root cause of why something like that would happen.
Right.
And it's clear as day what it is, because all you have to do is go back to Wednesday and Tuesday and Wednesday.
Well, they're saying that the guy, the suspect that they ended up shooting, I guess.
They killed him with a bomb.
Okay.
They killed him with a bomb. They sent a robot him, and the bomb detonated right by him.
Okay.
Yeah, because he had something strapped around him. So he was already wounded, number one, and he had been up there wounded for a long time and bleeding out. So he was close to that point of death anyway. So who knows if he had a plunger, could have set something off with the last movement. For their protection, they chose to send in the robot, and it had an arm, and they put something on the arm, the very tip, close to him to detonate that bomb to, make it safe for them to enter. And they said they negotiated him for how many hours?
Yeah.
They told him, you're going to come out and stay alive, or this is your choice. And they said that he said he's not coming out. So,
I had heard that he killed himself. So
yeah,
I had heard that earlier too. That was from a local reporter. I won't say, but he gets a lot of inside information, and he had mentioned that earlier in the evening too. But just to give it a little bit of perspective, that building, that parking garage he was in, is very convoluted. A lot of twists and turns because it's in a tight area down there. It's a community college, El Central Community College. It's one of the biggest campuses of the DCC CD community, Dallas County Community College District. And there were night classes still going on. They had, at 8 o'clock, when the protest started, out of safety, moved most of the faculty and students that were remaining into the wellness center downstairs. Then, I think when I told you guys in chat that they had finally released about 20 of those people, and they came up later that night. But even after that, there were still faculty and students in there. So just to give you a little bit of perspective, we've got students in there, what can you do? And this guy threatening to do more and saying that he left. And that was his specialty, was, wiring, bomb, that kind of stuff when he served. And he's saying that there's stuff all over Dallas, which it ended up not being. I think they found 2 items, but that ended up being nothing. But, in the moment, you don't know what's real, you don't know what to trust. He's saying all this stuff, he's obviously crazed. What can you do?
Right.
Could there have been a better way to end it? I don't know. I'm not a law enforcement, expert. None of us are. I don't know. But
we lost Cameron, didn't we?
No, Cameron fell out.
Oh, he'll come back.
He'll find us.
The guy, though, he had been planning this for a while.
Yeah.
Clearly, because they went to his house and they found out that he'd been doing tactical training and stuff in his backyard and making bombs in the house and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he was ex-military, so there's where his sniper skills came from. So he was just waiting for the prime opportunity, right, to do this. And so they're saying that he was the lone suspect, or lone shooter.
There was another. No, there was another.
Okay, see, there's conflicting reports.
I had heard there were 3.
2 is what the final, what was told to us in Dallas, but the way they said it was that they triangulated, that word, triangulated around specifically that group of police. Now, tomorrow, I don't know, they just showed on the news, the 9 o'clock news here, the perimeter of what's still closed. I don't know about tomorrow, but I would try to go down there. I'll see if I can at least go around and stick around the building and try to show you where it happened. But I'm definitely going to go to DPD because the boys wanted to go. But a young woman came out and said that she was planning to join the protest, but she missed it. It had just passed her. I think she works in one of the hotels down there. She heard the shots and looked up. She saw him in the parking garage. She saw him and ran. But she also saw and heard shots coming from this way. So she also confirms that. There was 2.
Okay.
They got the first one for sure pretty quickly. But that, oh man, oh boy. It was close to 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 Central, when it finally...
Because last night I was hearing that there was the triangulated attack, whatever, so they were saying 3. And then today they kept saying that the one that was killed was the lone shooter. And I was like, well, how could he have done this all by himself? That doesn't make sense. So,
because with the layout of the streets, like I told you, downtown Dallas is there's a lot of construction going on, number one. They are always rerouting the directions of the streets. Always. So I'm not quite sure which street the protests came down this way, Belo Gardens. That's towards Ross. But anyway, parking garage placement and whatever, but they know he was from up high. And I'm trying to think, how could he have been down here and get up there so quickly and continue? With the way they were saying rapid fire, there was no real long breaks in between for him to run, unless he was shooting while he's running like this through the parking garage. I don't know. But how could he be here in one moment and then he was up there the next?
right.
So I don't know. I don't know. There he is.
Sorry about that. I don't know what's up with my computer. As always, there's something wrong with it. So I'm using my phone this time.
Yeah, I'm on my phone too.
Oh, okay. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry
yeah.
about that.
No, you cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, and up until that point of the shootings starting, it was a peaceful protest, is what they said.
Yes, it was actually winding down.
Was it?
Yeah, it was at the end already. They were winding down.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, in general, I think the general public is not like out to get the cops. They're not out necessarily to
No.
get each other. But
No.
of course, the media. You got to think about how the media is going to flip things around. You know.
Sure.
And in this case, this guy, there was something else going on with him.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't just a retaliation because of what had just happened. He had been planning it before. It didn't take just the 2 days prior for him to put this together.
The dude
because
had loads and loads of ammo.
Right.
How did he know? He laid out which way he was going to go. He knew what building he was going to end up in. He knew what level to go to. He knew. He researched this long and hard. Somebody even mentioned that he probably even got access to blueprints.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I don't know.
When you have one bad apple like that, or 2 or 3, however many was involved, then it makes it look bad for the masses because people aren't going to focus on whatever else was going on with him or whatever his issue was.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to focus on this was a black man that was retaliating because of what had just happened in Minnesota and Louisiana. And so then it looks bad on black folks.
Right.
So if there's any message to take from that, it's don't listen to the media. I mean, listen, but listen
dig deeper
about what they're saying. Yeah.
Don't
dig
just
deeper.
take
Do
them
your
at
own
face
research.
value. Exactly.
Do your research, right?
Yeah.
Because he's ex-military. Who knows what he came back with?
Right.
What mental health issue it could have been.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he had a bad experience with a cop, and that's what set him off. And you know.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
And then add in Mr. Sterling and Philander.
Right. He, like I said, just waiting for another one of these situations, which was bound to happen.
To give him reason.
Yeah. I mean, and there's plenty of people who've been speaking out online. There's a police officer, a black female police officer.
Yeah.
From Cleveland. Her name was Nakia Jones.
Yes.
I think all of us have seen her initial video.
Yeah.
I saw some.
I saw it. I put tears in my eyes.
Yeah. I mean, if that doesn't give you some sort of insight to a cop that actually cares about people, and really brings it back to not all cops are bad cops.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they're not out to get us. They're not out to kill all black folks or all minorities or whatever you're thinking that might be going on.
Right.
It doesn't change the fact that because of the situations like this, black folks are a little bit more scared when they go out.
Sure.
They're going to get pulled over or whatever the case is. Because you just don't know if you're going to get one of the good ones or one of the bad ones.
Right.
And God forbid you happen to have a gun that you're supposed to have because you can't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that was another issue in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's an open carry state.
Yes,
I want to kind of make this.
Y'all need to pray for me. That Trump rally, woo, them good old boys came with loaded weaponry, and we had just drove through there too. Oy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Personally, I mean, it's bad enough that they let people have guns, but then it's why open carry. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but
Real.
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense to me. Why do people need to be walking out in the street with guns out in the open like they're carrying a bag?
Because they think it's a deterrent to all these school shootings. They think that if they were there, let's say, for instance, some morning, they're dropping off their kid and they see somebody coming, oh, he's got a gun, I'm going to change my mind. That's what they think. They feel big and bad. They feel protective. They feel like they can take the law in their own hands if need be. That's what it is.
Wow.
Because when they interviewed those dudes outside the Trump rally, that's exactly what they said. If something were to come about, if these people start to act out, we'll be ready. We'll be ready to act when the police don't.
okay,
Who asked
well,
you?
okay, so you're
Sick.
openly carrying, let's say, a pistol,
Right.
but some dude decides to mow down a bunch of people with AK-47.
Right.
Who's gonna win that fight?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, what good is it really doing, other than just
I don't know.
showing off your toy because you
Yeah.
And okay, so this is the thing. I understand that if it's open carry, because it's your right to do that,
Mm-hmm.
you can openly carry your gun at a rally or a protest or a grocery store, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But here's where I'm coming from with I forgot the guy's name. The one that had his face plastered all over
Mark.
TV.
Mark Hughes.
Yeah, Mark Hughes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I totally get that he had his right to do that. What I
Mhm.
don't understand, personally, is as a black man, when you're going to a protest because of two black men who just got shot
Right.
by police,
Right.
one who for sure had a gun on him and had his right to have that gun,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't matter. So you're going to show up with a rifle over your shoulder?
Right. Out of your own
What-
personal safety. You didn't rethink that?
Mm-hmm.
For
I mean,
real.
And yeah, you're gonna say, well, it was my right because it's an open carry state. Well, that's great, but it was his right to have the gun on him in his car,
And where's he now?
and it didn't matter.
Exactly.
So going to a protest, my first thought about a protest, especially over situations like this, is it could be potentially dangerous because people are going to be in their emotions about all this. And
Exactly.
You
And even
never
though it was
know.
advertised as a peaceful protest, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
you
No, it
never
doesn't.
know. You don't know who's going to
Exactly.
show up and how angry they're going to be and what they plan on doing to who. You know, because
All
there's a race issue, there's an underlying race issue,
This is still the South.
right?
All
And-
it takes is one. All it takes is one nutcase to come in, and it's a wrap.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not condemning him for what he did. If he felt that that's what he should have done, then that's fine. I'm just questioning the judgment
Logic.
and the logic there
Right.
because of a what if situation. What if something broke out and then people are looking at you with a rifle, then you could
do something.
got shot.
And he couldn't do anything because it wasn't even loaded.
Right. So what was the point of him carrying it?
Of having it anyway. Exactly.
Just because you can.
Just because you can.
Yeah, basically.
Now, I will say this. Kudos to him and to DPD because he turned himself in.
Yeah.
He was questioned. He was cleared. And he was released.
Right.
He wasn't pinned down on the ground and taken 6 shots to the back.
Right.
They follow protocol. I know it's a hard time for him. I know he's gotten a lot of flack. I know a lot of people are still pointing the finger at him. I get it. Now, if DPD hasn't taken his picture down, then sure, that's between him and his lawyer or whatever to go after that, handle that.
Right.
But, all this stuff I'm seeing, people are losing focus on the sniper and the actual incidents that have happened and are putting so much attention on this guy. I understand he's fearful. I get that. But you're alive and you were cleared. You made a bad choice in taking that gun down there. to this peaceful protest.
Mm-hmm.
You were questioned and you were released. I feel you. I know that was your right, but come on now.
Yeah.
You were labeled as a person of interest. Of course. If it was one of us,
Right.
something happened, you know damn well all of us would be like, I want every down there who had a weapon questioned.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And rightfully so, because you're putting yourself out there to where people would question you.
Right.
Right.
It's a rally, for crying out loud. This is not
Yes.
this is not a shooting range.
If you got
no
that
point
many
in
people, that many people in the downtown area together, and yes, it's a peaceful rally or whatever, but how many of those people had guns? So, and then you hear shooting. Of course, you're
Right.
gonna you don't know who did
You
what.
and I had that dude pass us at the rally, and then we hear shots 10 minutes later. You and I are
Right.
going to look at each other like, oh!
That dude had a gun. Maybe it was him. We don't know.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's not out of just pointing
Trying
the
to
finger
target
at
him.
somebody. Yeah,
Right.
it's trying to figure out who it was that was shooting, because if that's the only dude that you happen to notice had a gun, because he was walking around with straps
That's
on his shoulder.
thorough investigation to me.
Yeah.
You know? That's what they're supposed to do.
It sucks that it happened the way it happened, but I mean, at that
Oh,
point,
of course.
everybody's it's chaos. So
Yes.
what do you expect?
Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
I'm glad that it turned out the way it did, and it was handled the way it did.
Exactly. Kudos to Dallas Police for, you know, squashing it in the way that they did. It sucks. Yes.
I just hope that people with open carry laws like that, I just wish that they would be a little bit more logical about, especially black folks. I gotta say,
Yeah.
because
It's true.
you know, you just don't know. You don't. My dad, for example, he's registered, he's licensed to have a gun. He's always been. But he just told me the other day, he's like, I don't even carry it anymore. I said, well, you don't even have to. You don't have to. All you have to be guilty of is being black.
Right.
Yeah.
Just exist, and you're already, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're guilty before proven innocent.
Yep.
You can't even speak for yourself no more, let alone defend yourself. Because you're automatically being viewed as a threat.
Right. You can't explain to the officer what you were taught in your class.
Yeah.
I'm licensed to carry.
Right.
You can't even get the sentence out.
Nope.
Yeah.
Have all the degrees in the world and be
I'm telling you.
as much of an outstanding citizen of the law you can be, and yet you're still seen as being no better than the common criminal on the street.
You're a thug.
Yeah.
Very much so. Don't need a hoodie for that. Just be in a
I'm
three-piece
telling you.
suit.
Now try explaining this to an 8-year-old
Oh my God.
Well, see, and that's
and a 3-year-old.
Stephanie's right there in Dallas while all this stuff is happening, and the kids, they don't know how to react to that.
And boys were up till nearly 1 a.m. crying, scared. Well, you know. So we went to Dwayne's school today, and you know it's a long drive out there to Seagoville. So, yeah, we had more discussion. Which is any opportunity we get, it's just more discussion. Because see, the way we go out there, you have to go the perimeter of downtown Dallas. So we saw it all on the way there, and of course that brings it back up in discussion. I mean, flags are all at half staff. I mean, traffic going in. There's onlookers purposely going. That's what another thing that's getting me. Oh God. You know, the people purposely trying to get in and you know, gooseneck and see what's going on. Anyway, all I could tell him is that, look, you know, just because you're angry at someone or somebody hurts your feelings or does something to you does not give you the right to physically act out and use violence as your answer to get back at somebody. And it's not okay for them to do that to you. And you know, even though Daddy's in a very loved position and, you know, in a community that has embraced him, Daddy's still a black man, and, you know, anything could happen at any time, and he needs to understand that. So having that also side of the discussion, like, you know, something could happen to Daddy at any time. just because. That's still an ongoing discussion.
And that was the same situation for for Lander. He was a cafeteria supervisor. He had been with that school district for a number of years. Upstanding citizen.
Yeah.
He was not a thug.
Right.
Nope.
But yet he's pinpointed and judged to the effect that he is.
Right. And you know what? Even if he had been a thug, it still doesn't warrant that.
It still didn't deserve it.
Exactly.
That's what nobody's understanding. Doesn't matter.
There's protocol to everything. And once you violate it, then you have to pay you're supposed to pay the consequence for it. And in a case like this, what bothers me the most is that we know what the history has been in cases like this. And I totally see another rerun in both cases with this. These the cops are gonna the cops are gonna be indicted and then found not guilty, or they won't even make it to trial.
No trial.
But one way or another, they'll still be out in the street functioning as free citizens, and once they're found not guilty or not having to go any further with trial, give it 6 months to a year, they'll be asking for their badge back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle. So
yeah, it is.
I've been telling people, get ready to go through the cycle again. Get ready for it.
Well, that's when things will get worse, because that's when people will really be upset. Is when they see that no justice is served.
We've already been seeing it.
Right.
Why and I hate to sound cold and crass, but why do you think that was happening?
Right.
Yep.
Because of what's already happened.
Yep.
Cause and effect.
Yeah.
But I mean, for these kinds of situations to happen is bad enough, but then to happen in front of these men's children
yes,
is a problem. It's a bigger problem than it already was, especially the 4-year-old. I mean, it's bad.
She told her mother.
She told her mother.
She told her mother he's gone.
Oh. And she had to comfort her mom, saying,
and
"It's
then
all right, I'm with you. I'll be there for you."
And then they separated them at the station.
Right. She was held from what I heard or read or both. She was held for like 8 hours.
My God.
For what?
And cuffed.
Why?
Over a taillight?
That's what she said. They were made to feel like they had done something wrong to bring this about. She said they were comforting the officer and not her and her daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Now, how is this little girl going to grow and look at police and,
Her along with the other kids, kids of Alton Sterling. Even if they had bad views of the cops before, it's now 1,000 times worse now. Because it directly affects them. Who's to say that this won't cause them to want to retaliate against the cops?
Out later.
Who's to say that it won't cause them to be so depressed and so angry they'll take it out, but they'll take it out on themselves.
Right.
And here we're back to that cycle again.
Type of treatment and counseling to be able to talk to someone and manage the emotions that they're going through.
Yeah.
This is as horrifying as it gets.
I mean, those kids are messed up for life, and
Mhm.
and then we have to talk to our kids,
Mhm.
like Stephanie just explained about hers. You have to.
Yeah.
Why should we have to tell our kids that there's even that possibility that something might happen to
Right.
your dad? You shouldn't even
Right.
have to tell them that.
Right.
Because now we
Nobody
live in
should
a
be
day and
telling their
age.
kids or any person in general that the cops are bad.
Right.
Mhm. Right. Both sides of it. Right.
I mean, I understand
Yeah.
why we have to, but it's like if white families aren't telling their kids that, because
Mm.
they don't have to.
Mm-mm.
Because the chances of something happening to one of their parents is slim. The
Right.
chances of something happening to one of those kids walking out the door is slim if you compare it to the same type of family that's living on the other side of town.
Right.
Mhm.
It's a few shades darker.
Yep.
And it's 2016, you know?
Don't seem like
The
it, does it?
It's the year from hell. We
Man,
just barely got into the second half of the year.
I'm so sick of
We're not
this
even
year.
10 days in this year. I mean, in this month for July, and this is already crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
The officer that I mentioned from Cleveland, she did an interview today, a little press conference. She was talking about
Oh yeah.
why she said what she said, and um, apparently
She
she
did
had
not lose her job. Let's make that clear,
right.
because they were saying, yeah.
She met with her supervisor. She didn't say
Mhm.
what that meeting entailed, but she didn't lose her job.
Mhm.
And she didn't say much about what the reaction was from her colleagues either. She just said that she'd gotten some positive feedback, and then she left that
Mhm.
alone. So
Yeah.
I can imagine she's probably getting it from both sides. But anyway,
Hmm.
she's just one of the few that you ever hear that come out and say what needs to be said. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that she did, and I'm thankful that somebody was willing to speak up,
Mhm.
and that there's cops out there that will hold other cops accountable if they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
I
Because
don't remember the DJ's name, but there's some radio DJ who spoke out about just that, about the good cops do need to start being more vocal like that.
yeah,
They need to start calling out their own.
Yeah,
because if they don't, I
they
mean, then what?
do. It's
We
time.
can't.
If you're a
Mhm.
good cop, then let us know that you're good.
If
Mhm.
we can speak and scream and holler all we want about how things are not right and it's not doing
Mhm.
any good, but
Mhm.
maybe if their colleagues start speaking up and
Exactly.
um,
And then let's
so
also talk about, where's the NRA people to defend Philando?
right,
Where are they to say, hey,
Yes.
you know,
they're usually right on it, aren't they?
come on now,
How come
come
not
on,
now?
where y'all at?
He had a right to carry that gun.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I don't know.
Oh, God.
I don't know what the answer is to any of it. I just thought that the discussion should be had, and
Yeah.
D.L. Hughley has spoken a lot about
Ben,
these issues.
bless him.
And he'd said something earlier about, he said, what I'll try never to do is let my biases and my fear overrule my humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically what we all should be doing. We're probably afraid of cops right now. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody's got biases, whether they think they do or not. But we all have the ability to stop and think And if we got to keep compassion going, because if we lose that, then everything else is just
Absolutely.
it's going to end up even worse than it is now.
And it starts at home.
Yeah.
It starts with us taking husbandry and wifehood seriously. It's time for us to get back to the Word. It's time for us to take parenthood seriously and start it here in your own home. It starts at home.
Yeah.
Who we are, it's like what Dwayne and I always say, we're raising somebody's future husbands and fathers, pillars of the community. That's what we wake up every morning, going into every day. I'm molding them, shaping them to put out there, and to make a difference. And even like today we had a band event. All the band students coming in, and that's mentoring time, and given not even just our kids. Anytime you get a chance to do that, to mentor, it's got to start there.
However, even though we do that for and with our children, at the same time, especially for black children, especially black males, we have to still, when you go out into the world, if you encounter a police officer, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. Make sure you follow, thus and so rules, so that preferably nothing will happen to you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Exactly. That's what Don Lemon spoke on.
It's a shame that we have to even tell them that if you do X, Y, and it's a shame that you have to say so that X, Y, and Z doesn't have to happen in regards to cops.
Right.
It should just be, you do this, that, and the other. And call it a day. I mean, if you act rowdy, then the cops will respond. That's the proper way.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be I'm just following your rules, and you have to worry about you still shooting my ass. You shouldn't have to tell a 7-year-old that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is important because these kids walk around with attitudes in them. And especially teenagers. So, and then when things like this happen, then they get all upset, and they want to, they want to do something. And then as soon as they see a cop, then they want to start saying something, or and they're not thinking about the consequences, not really thinking about what honestly could happen if you act out. So. At this point, it's life or death, which it sucks, but that's what it comes down to. And it's not just with cops. Let's just put that out. It's not just with cops. You don't know who you're coming in contact with when you walk out the door. There's some crazy folks out there.
Oh yeah.
So you just,
that's the
think about this dude that that put all this stuff together in Dallas to shoot up these cops. I mean. Nobody would have had any idea that he was thinking that way.
Yeah,
but
his neighbors, can you imagine?
Right. So, if we can try to remember how to act ourselves.
Yeah.
And keep love and compassion, because if you care enough about yourself to carry yourself in a certain way, and you care about other people, then you're doing the best that you can with that, and it's doing a lot more than some people are doing. But we're missing that. We're definitely missing that in the world. We've been missing that for a while, and we need that now. And understanding where other people are coming from, because now that we have this. And it's a systematic divide. They're with stuff like this happening. It's like you see it turning into a race war. Whether it's but it's just what they've always done that. And I was having this discussion with my dad just the other day, and he said, It's basically a modern day lynching. You know?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They're doing it with guns now. And you might not see the hood.
Yeah. And they're all high tech.
Right. So,
sad.
It is sad, but and like I said, here we are, 2016, and we got a black president, but that doesn't show that we've gone as far as we thought we did. But if people could just stop talking and thinking that they know,
right,
long enough to step back and look at it, try to look at it through the eyes of who they're talking to,
right,
who they're talking at, you know, and stop telling black folks that the ones that are dead were the ones that were wrong. Because just like we don't know all of the details that happened just before those cameras started rolling, neither do they. So you can't tell me that they were wrong if you're telling me that I can't tell you that they were right. We both have the same amount of information, and what we're looking at does not look like either one of them men did anything that warranted their death.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
listen, right or wrong, no matter how I was treated or how I came off, whatever, you're supposed to treat me with a level of respect.
Right.
Right.
Period. You know, you're not supposed to come at me crazy.
Right.
Just like I'm not supposed to come at you crazy.
Right.
You know? And that's what's missing here. There needs to be respect all across the board, and that's missing.
Right.
Because we're not. It's 2016, and I can't be looked at. Not I just myself, but in general, I can't be looked at as a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That says a hell of a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, nobody is saying that every black person that gets pulled over is in the right. Every black person that has gotten shot, killed, was in the right. Nobody's saying that.
Right.
But if you are a white person living in this nice, perfect little white box, then don't come at black folks, especially after some kind of situation like this, and try to tell us why we shouldn't feel the way we're feeling.
Right.
And I dare say, don't use that all lives matter rhetoric on any of us at this point, because one, that's a given, and number two, because I focus on my life as a black man and your lives as black people, that doesn't make anybody else's life any less important.
Less. Right. It's just now.
It's about me and making sure that I can live after I've been dealt with by the police.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. I should not be worried about being pulled over by the cops
for a tail light.
Yeah.
The only thing you should be fearing is, all crap, I'm gonna get a ticket. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So they've seen it on Facebook. Like, all lives do matter. We get that. It's so just saying Black Lives Matter does not mean that the rest of y'all don't matter. We're saying Black Lives Matter because right now it looks like they don't. To some people. And all lives can't matter if some people don't take Black lives into account.
Hello.
Exactly.
Thank you. If one is hurt, all of us are hurt.
All of us. None of us are living right until we fix this.
Damn right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how many times more we're going to go through this, but I'm sure we're going to go through it and go through it and go through it. It'll be the
Yeah.
same discussion over and over and over again. And like I said, I don't know what the solution is. Talking about it is a start.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk until the cows come home, but we need to start seeing action. We need to start seeing the government officials actually trying to do something for a change. Unfortunately, they're not. We have such little faith in them because they've shown us why we can't have much faith in them. But hopefully something can come about somehow, some act of God, and something can come where the police are held more accountable, much more accountable, I should say, in a case like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that would be the thing that I'm looking for. I need action now. I can talk all day until I lose my voice. I can march the street as much as I want to until my feet come off of my body. But until I start seeing some actual change where it needs to be changed, then what is it for? I'm glad we're doing this because we all need to be able to talk and vent out our frustrations, our worries, and our concerns. But we need to see the change.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Stop talking to me about what needs to be done. Do something.
Right.
And exactly. You know, it starts with just making the decision to actually do something at all.
Right.
Just make a decision and then act on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say but.
No, say it.
That's right. We all need to do something. But then when you have people that want retaliation, that's where the problem comes.
Another great point.
Something needs to happen, but violence is not the answer for violence. And hating all cops is not the answer for a few cops hating all black folks.
It solves nothing.
If we end up hating all cops and thinking that all cops hate black folks, we're doing the exact same thing that they're doing to us. So if you get a couple of bad apple cops that are racist and treat black folks as if they're all thugs, then it makes us no better if we turn around and say all police are racist.
That's right.
So that doesn't fix the problem, because that's not true, just like what they're saying is not true.
Right.
So if we can get that into the minds of the majority of people, but again, then you have thugs out there that just think that having a gun and busting the cap at a cop is going to be the answer, and it's not going to do any good.
Kudos to Snoop in the game today.
Oh yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I saw
Kudos
that.
to Snoop in the game today for making an attempt to get a dialogue going.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that online too, and I was amazed. Gangbangers, former gangbangers, if they can come together in a moment like this, why can't the rest of us? And I think Dorothy says something that was key about the thinking. The battlefield really is in the mind, because if you think something is true, you're going to act on that.
Right.
Even if that thing is dead wrong, you're going to act on it because you believe it, because you've been thinking it. And we have to change the mindset. You have to change your mind before you can change your action.
Right.
And this is why we go back to what was said about teaching the youth, about making sure that they don't have the wrong mindset about cops, but they also have the right view or better yet, the proper view of the cops, but
Mm.
also a proper view of themselves, just as men, women, boys, girls, black, white, whatever. You know, it's you got, and even we're not too old to get it together ourselves if we choose to. We have to make a decision to want to change how we see things, just for the sake of changing the environment around us.
Mhm.
And
Cameron and Dimitri, have either one of you had any negative run-ins with cops?
Mhm.
mm,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes, I have.
hmm
I've had a few.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I've had this is some years ago, but I was coming back to California and had gotten pulled over. Don't know why still. Gotten pulled over. Um, Person I was with, she got pulled out the car. The other party that I was with, he got pulled out the car too. Um, we all get questioned. For whatever reason, there's a male officer and a female officer. This is California Highway Patrol.
Mhm.
But they just decide to bring the guns out, and I'm just like, hey,
Oh.
if you're gonna do it. You know, if you pull a gun on me, you better damn well use it. And then all I got was a ticket.
for all that,
What?
for all
See?
that,
Like,
For speeding.
Intimidation.
yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Abuse of power. Yeah. Yeah.
ridiculous and sickening.
Cam, you?
I have been pulled over by the cops a couple of times, but my story is different in that I have my military ID, my old military ID.
Mm.
And I remember before I left the Marines, I was told whenever the cops pull you over, you make
Mhm.
sure you show them that ID. And more times
Mm.
than not, they will leave you alone just
Yeah.
because they respect the military.
Right.
And the 2 or 3 times that that's happened to me, I always put that along with my license and my registration, and they always left me alone.
Wow.
And I was always thanking God for that. But with the events of yesterday and the day before, I was thinking about, what if I didn't have it?
Right.
What
Or
if
looking for Landro, you were told to put your hands up and give your ID at the same time. What were you going to do?
Right.
Yep, and I was just gonna say that. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
What are you supposed to do?
what would I do? You know, and that went through me. You know, I knock on wood that
Mhm.
I've been fortunate, but so many of my fellow brethren haven't.
Right.
Even if they weren't shot, having a gun in your face,
Mhm.
that messes with your psyche.
Well, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and I just,
Yeah.
I all I can say is I just thank God that all my cases I made it through with those cases that I did. You know,
Mhm.
that's all I can
Wow.
say.
Wow.
Stephanie, has Dwayne had any?
Oh hell yeah. It's the
Mm.
South.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we're biracial, interracial couple. And a
And
couple of times that's helped us. A couple of times it's drawn attention to us.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time we were a weekend when I think Corey came and got me from North Texas, and we were doing something, and we happened to get lost. It was not that late, maybe 9. We were in Capel, and it's around the area where the Cowboys, they used to train, around their area, and very, wealthy area. We made a U-turn.
Mm-hmm.
Made a U-turn, and here they come.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't where we couldn't have made a U-turn. We didn't do nothing. We weren't obstructing traffic, nothing. Corey was driving. You were in the passenger. I was in the back. Thank God they realized I was in the back. Because if I hadn't been, I don't know what would have happened after that. Because they had two dudes that came, one on Dwayne's side, one on the driver's side, my friend Corey's side, tapping both windows and just verbally harassing. And they finally shined the light in the back. And I don't quite remember what happened, but they went back to their car. And they took your license and Corey's, and they didn't take mine. And a few minutes passed. Of course, they're both clean. And what did they tell him was the reason? And they said, y'all just better hurry up and get out of here. They said taillight too? It was Corey's car. And they said, hurry up and get out of here. And then another time recently, Dwayne and I, same thing. Well, we knew our light was out. We had just went to go get the light to replace it, actually. And it was Halloween, right up here on our block. And the female white officer came and gave us hell. And we're like, we know. We're on our way home to go. You better hurry up and go do it. Yeah, little things like that. But had I not been with Dwayne, though? Had I not been with Dwayne that day? Well, how stank she was acting. Who knows?
I've been through that one, too.
Mm-hmm.
Scary. So scary.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes down to the same thing. No one should be scared, should be dealing with the cops. These are people who are supposed to be protecting you.
Right.
Fortunately, I haven't had any...
you haven't had any run-ins?
No, well, I mean, other than just getting pulled over and I realized I did something stupid. Speeding or whatever. And it's like, but, and I haven't had any actual interaction. I had a grouchy cop, but he wasn't mad because I was black. He was just having a bad day. But, my dad has told me plenty of stories of when he was growing up. He's from Birmingham, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and
enough said.
Really?
Right.
And he's 85. So this was
shout out, Dad. What's up?
This was Birmingham back in the 1930s.
Oh boy.
So I remember one story he was telling me about. Walking down the street. I don't know if he was alone or if he was with a friend or cousin or somebody, but the cops would just roll by and it just harassment just because he's a black kid walking down the street. They would throw urine on him.
Oh no.
And,
oh my God.
And there was another incident where he had a BB gun, I think it was. And a cop stopped him, asked him what he was doing or whatever. And the cop took the gun from him and then pushed it into his stomach. And I don't remember what he said to him. He said some, intimidating crap to him and pulled the trigger. And it didn't, luckily, it didn't have anything in it.
Oh my gosh.
But he's a kid, though,
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that he had to deal with way back in the day. So imagine his point of view from
all this
85 years watching how things have supposedly progressed. But then you see stuff like this happen, and then it's like, no, we really haven't.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
And I told you guys this the other day, but I let him watch the video of Officer Nakia Jones and what she had to say. And I pulled the video up on my phone and I left it in his room the other morning. And I walked out to go do something, and about maybe halfway through the video, I came back in, and he had already lost it. He was just in tears. So, which reminded me of Dreamer, Now,
Yeah.
now we bring up Prince because he's going to.
Of course.
Big
Brother.
And
sorry, y'all, it's hot.
And when the line in Dreaming when he talks about seeing your father cry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is all about this kind of situation, because then the next part says praying to the police sirens pass you by at night.
Yes.
Everybody go listen to Dreamer.
Please do. A few times.
There's a Prince song for everything.
Yes, there is. Big Brother was a genius.
Big time.
So, and that's why 2 of the 4 of us are wearing our Baltimore shirts.
Hey, I got her. Mitri. Gosh.
Mine is packed away.
Me and Cameron, I don't know about y'all other 2, but we had posted the Baltimore video, I think today or yesterday.
Yeah, now yesterday over here.
Yeah. And I know when he did the song and he did the Rally for Peace at Fraser Park and he did the concert in Baltimore, people was kind of like, why is he doing stuff for Baltimore? And
why not?
I was kind of like, well, why not? Why should he be expected to do something? I mean, because there was a lot of stuff like this going on last year too.
Yeah.
The last couple years.
The last couple years. It really started with, the starting point in my mind was Trayvon Martin. Which was 2014, I think.
Yeah.
That was 2012 with that.
Was it?
Yeah. Man, really?
The case, yes, it was. The case happened in 2013. And then after all that happened, in terms of George Zimmerman being not guilty, then we start having the progression of stuff happening with the Michael Brown, the Eric Gardner,
Freddie,
and so many other people.
It's
been 4 years.
I didn't realize it's been that long.
Tamir Rice.
Me either.
Right.
I feel like it was last year.
But
yes,
there had just recently been another situation in North Minneapolis around that same time that Baltimore had taken.
Jamal Clark.
Right. And so I know there was question of why he didn't do something there at home. But my process of thought was, North Minneapolis is a rough part of town. That's where he grew up and whatever, who knows. But it ain't nothing like Baltimore. Baltimore, that's a rough city.
It is.
Extremely
I've never been
rough.
there, but I've got a.
There's a sound. It looks like the land that time forgot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't been since I was under 10 years old.
I've never been there, but I don't think that. I mean, I think the song was relevant to Baltimore, but the song can be also like insert city here.
Right, and that's where I was going with that. Yeah, because if you take all that happened, there was stuff going on all over the place.
Everywhere.
There was plenty of stuff going on in Chicago. There's probably more stuff going on in North Minneapolis. All over the country there was stuff happening. But Baltimore, it was kind of like that, because of what he did for the city, having that concert was to raise awareness, to bring some peace for at least that night, and to give a message of hope and love and let them know what we need to do.
Right.
Of all of the cities that had something going on, that was probably the one that needed it the most. And just like when Trayvon Martin, that situation with him, and then people would say, I am Trayvon Martin, like Dimitri just said, insert city here. You could just say, we are Baltimore, because it's happening everywhere. That was just like worst case scenario. example for all of them. And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, that's my explanation as to why he did that. But the purpose of the song stands, like I said, for it's still relevant.
Yeah, it's all encompassing. It's all of us. It's every city.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The
And
message still stands even a year
Mhm.
later. Even more so because it's still the thing, you know. We need peace.
Mm-hmm.
right.
And we're not finding it, and we, you know, it's just it's a
Yeah.
horrible situation, you know. And it could be the roughest of places or the nicest of places, but if injustice happens, it happens, no matter where it is.
Right.
And we just need to find a way to make it to where people get justice wherever they are, whoever
Mhm.
they are.
I don't know. I don't know what the next move is from this discussion, but I just think the general message is what Cameron's been saying. We all need to do more,
Yeah. Better. Do better.
do better. If you're already doing, do more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Doesn't matter how big or how small, just something. You give to
Yeah.
these give some money to the organizations that are about trying to make, you know, justice happen. You know, if you
Mhm.
can't actually go out to a meeting
Mm.
or organize something,
mhm.
you know,
Right.
Yeah.
anything is better than at this point. Anything is better than nothing, and I'm talking to myself too. You
Mhm.
Yeah.
know, because I've been thinking more about what can I do. I don't want to
Yeah.
just be making posts on Facebook, venting and talking. I want to actually finally do something.
Mhm.
But then let's be clear too. Don't put yourselves in harm's way. You know,
Oh,
Right.
never.
it,
That's the thing.
that's that's why I don't usually involve myself in protests because of what
Look what
happened in
happens.
Dallas.
Exactly.
Um,
Mm.
as nice as it would be sometimes to be involved in those peaceful ones, you just never know if it's going to
You
turn
never
ugly.
know.
But if I mean, if you have a chance to mentor a kid,
Please do.
I mean, that's a big one right there.
That's what
Especially,
we do every day.
yep, especially these teenagers, like middle school age kids, because those are the ones that
That's where it starts.
that's where
You
attitudes
know.
come in. They needed the
Yeah.
most.
We were talking about that. Dwayne. Well, he's back at the high school this year, but for the previous 5 years, he was at a middle school, and oh boy, they were more rough, weren't
Yeah,
they? Those kids were whoa at that middle school level. It was sixth, seventh, eighth at middle school level where he was, and wow,
yeah.
yeah,
I believe it.
they need us. They need us
Because
to
they're just
walk
gonna
the
grow
walk
up.
and show them in our actions. You know,
Absolutely.
that's what Dwayne always says. He can teach all he wants and profess all he wants, but if they don't see him walking the walk and living by it and being that true example, you know, that's where it comes in. So do that. Even if that's as much as you can do, is just be the best you.
Yeah,
Every day when you leave your house, be the best you.
be a positive
Yeah.
example. And,
You
like I said, compassion. Have some compassion for people. Respect people.
Yeah.
If people are talking, then listen to them. Don't be so quick to shut them down or judge them or whatever. You don't know
Mhm.
what they're going through, what they've been through, or what stuff like this is doing to their psyche.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it doesn't. It is a race issue, but it doesn't have to be a race issue between you and me or me and the next person. We
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
still have a conversation without it
Absolutely.
becoming a battle between the two of us if you just
Mhm.
try to understand where I'm coming from and I
Mhm.
understand where you're coming
Listen.
from. maybe you can walk
Absolutely.
away with a better understanding of like your where your viewpoint comes from. Maybe you haven't experienced anything or been around
Right.
anything that's so that I totally understand why people don't get it. They've been in that bubble.
Secluded in a bubble. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you have to realize that you've been in that bubble, and so don't shut people down. Listen to what they have to say, and
Really listen.
It's not coming from a place of a militant like standpoint. We're just when you have a certain race or a certain group of people or whatever, and you're seeing the people that you connect with, those are the ones that you're always seeing dying. It's going to start to mess with you, and it's going to start to piss you off. So you have to understand that that's what's happening. And it's not that we are starting to become racist ourselves and hate white folks. And I'm the last one. I'm mixed. But again, it's just about understanding and being respectful enough to, even if you don't understand, just zip it.
And listen for understanding. Listen for understanding. Don't sit there and think that you're listening, but you're already trying to come up with what you're going to say back. That's not listening.
Right.
No.
You know, already trying to come back with a defense, or this is what I'm going to get back at you with. I'm going to say this to prove my point. That's not listening for understanding.
Right.
That's listening for argument.
Right.
And we're never going to get anywhere, because that's what we see online, and all these posts, all these comments, are people are reacting and being cruel to each other and aren't listening for understanding. So
Absolutely.
Start there.
Yep.
Start there.
I agree.
Well, y'all, where should we go from here?
I don't know, but I just think if opportunity allows, like I said, mentoring or volunteering for, I don't know, community stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do to maybe make yourself available. Because if we just like lock ourselves away and don't have any interaction with people, that's not helpful either.
Right.
Because then we're just living in fear, and we don't want that either. It's not good for us, and it's not good for society.
Yeah, really.
So, I don't know, but to kind of intertwine a little bit into what we should do, let's bring it back to Prince real quick.
Always, right? That's what we do.
Somebody on our group had brought up everybody donating so that he can get a star on the Walk of Fame.
No. Did I miss that post?
I saw that.
I didn't see that. No, guys. Prince already spoke out. He didn't want that.
Yeah. A few people, me and a few others, had said that he didn't want that. She said that at the time that he just said that he didn't feel like he deserved it. I don't know. Whatever the case, if he had wanted one, he'd have got one.
It would have happened.
Because it's not something that they present to you. It's if you want one, you buy it. So
yeah, it's got to come out of your own pocket.
So I think that because it costs a lot of money to do that, and I think there's a certain
and the upkeep.
Yeah, there's upkeep. So you can't just buy it and then be like, all right, well that's cool.
And that's it. Right. Somebody has to be responsible.
You got to be responsible for upkeeping that star.
And are y'all really going to be ready for that?
Yeah, I ain't gonna do
it. I'm not in California anymore, so.
I don't want money like that. So. My idea is to buy yourself a star on the Walk of Fame seems a little bit egotistical. So I'm thinking maybe that's where his viewpoint was coming from. That's probably why he didn't get it, especially in the later years.
I can see that.
What was the viewpoint again?
That it was more of an arrogant kind of like, I just bought my star on the Walk of Fame because I deserve it, and he wasn't really so much about that stuff anymore. He wasn't about awards so much anyway, so it made sense that he didn't wanted it. And in his own humble way to say, I don't feel like I deserve it. Yeah, he deserved it, but whatever. Anyway.
He had his views on how that sort of thing worked for him. I do remember that they wanted to give him. I'd heard they wanted to give him the star back around 92, 93, especially 93.
Oh, really?
But that was
so around Diamonds and Pearls time.
Changed his name.
Oh.
Around the Love Symbol album time.
Oh, okay.
But then he changed his name. How's that gonna work?
They probably didn't have a font for that yet. So.
Right, that's right.
Look, I'll say this. If y'all really want to raise that money and y'all want to do it, and y'all are willing to do the upkeep all these years behind it too, do you? I mean...
I'm not helping you, though.
I'm just saying...
Well, all right, Kenna.
You know what I mean? Like,
I support you, though.
Here's my thing. I think somebody mentioned that it's like a 5-year period or something, like posthumously, if somebody's going to get a star. I don't know how that works.
I don't know because, like, who was it last week? Shirley Caesar, she just got a star last week. That was last week. Yeah. New Edition's getting a star.
Ice
but
Cube's
the OJs, Ice Cube getting one, but the OJs still don't have a star. And they've been around for like 50 years.
There's so many that don't have stars that should.
They don't want to pay for it, I guess.
They don't want it,
You want
yeah, exactly. When I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard last year, plenty of spaces available for a star. Plenty.
I don't know. I mean, I think generally from what I was getting from that thread, most people were like, no. And I think it's because we don't know that he would have wanted it. Like I said, if he would have wanted it, I would have thought he would have got it while he was here.
Right.
And
the time for him to have had it would
would have been
long ago.
Like, And I think
either in the.
Go ahead, Cameron.
I was saying either during the quote heyday unquote or around the time of Musicology 3121 when he was coming back into public awareness. Those were the times to do it.
Oh yeah, Musicology was perfect because he was getting rock and roll.
Oh yeah,
doesn't even matter.
But anyway, I think also if he was to say anything about how we were spending that amount of money, he either wanted it to go to something a little bit better. Just saying.
Yeah.
So, then somebody had mentioned, like giving the money to some sort of a charity or something like that, but the general consensus is people want our group to do something to honor him.
Okay.
Which I had already kind of
something for what?
To honor
Prince.
Honor him. Can you hear me?
Cam, get the wax out. No, to honor Prince. I've had a couple of members write to me too, wanting our specific group to honor Prince.
Yeah, I mean, because we do have a lot of people, and
yes,
we should. So, if we're going to do something like that, then I would say if we're going to try to earn money to do something, it should be to give to a charity of some sort. So, we don't have to figure it out right now. I was just going to bring it up so we could discuss this with
Start the talk.
the rest
Okay.
of the moderation group, our admin team,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
figure something out.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I mean, because I think that's the best way if it's gonna be something where people are actually gonna donate money.
Okay.
Then because
Okay.
since he did so much charity work that it has come out since he's passed, and I mean that's the best way to do it.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Because he's not
I'm
here
down,
to
yeah.
see a star, and he's not here to see a statue. Somebody else mentioned a statue, and I'm like, oh.
I think they were already trying to plan that out front of Paisley anyway, weren't they?
Yeah, I heard something about a statue
So,
outside of Paisley. I don't know if
Let's
that's
see
gonna
what
happen.
pops off with that first before we try to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's loads of money. That's
That's
loads
a
of
lot.
money.
That's
Let's
a
not
lot.
get it twisted.
That's a
Who's gonna be giving loads of money like that?
I'm
And
telling
you gotta realize if we put money together to get something physical like that, somebody
Mhm.
has to upkeep it.
Exactly.
With
Yeah.
the star on the Walk of Fame, that's a mandatory thing. With the statue,
Sure.
what happens if something happens to it? Who's gonna pay to fix
Right.
it?
Right.
So, and where he said I ain't.
Yeah.
And and then where we gonna put it? So it's just let's try to keep it somewhat simple and do something that I think that he would.
That would do good,
better.
not just
Yeah,
a
that's-
statue standing there. Yeah, something that would
Yes.
pay it forward.
Yeah.
And
Think
actually
logically.
Right. I agree
I don't
on
even
that.
see
Well,
him.
we'll keep talking about it.
We'll figure something
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, we've got plenty of time for that.
out. I know somebody else said there's been a couple people that have said something about doing a tribute type thing. We've discussed it,
Mhm.
and it's still somewhere on our table. We're trying to wait because we don't know for sure yet what's going on officially. So
Mhm.
it's like we keep hearing yes and
no.
then no, and then yes from this person and no from this person, and so we'll see. But it's an option, and we'll if that is something that we feel like needs to happen because the official one is not going to take place,
We'll figure something.
then we'll figure it out. We'll discuss it.
Yeah.
So there's where we are with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So all right, guys.
Good.
So I think we will end our "What's Wrong with the World Today" video there. We have not figured out what's wrong with the world, but we know there's some issues.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They need to be fixed.
Yep.
The main thing that we can do tonight and going forward is just keep praying for people. There's a lot of stuff just beyond this stuff. There's a lot of things happening. Just this year. So, and it's weighing heavy on a lot of people. So, keep your fellow peoples in prayer.
Mhm.
Amen to that.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess we should. Huh?
Any last words?
Shout out to our fellow admin. What's up, Fred? What's up, Tanya? What's up? Who am I missing? Germ.
Jermaine. Yeah, Jermaine.
Right.
Sure. You call me Germ.
Germ. That's Germ. And who else we missing? That's it, right?
That's it, I think.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Frederick needs to pay my Etsy bill.
Oh.
Wow.
Called him out.
Y'all
I called him out.
addicted.
Messy.
I'm just,
All right.
Just saying. All right, y'all.
Well, goodbye, everybody. We will figure out another time to do another video on something more uplifting because this is too much.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Very.
All right. Peace.
Deuce.